Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley Harwood. I'm one of the counselors in the Counseling and Wellness Office here at SBH. Today, we're going to be covering the seventh webinar in the series on creating healthy academic habits. And today, we're going to be talking about cultivating positive self-talk. And in this series so far, we've covered time management, goal setting, self-care, mindfulness, stress reduction, combating perfectionism, and then today we'll be talking about how to cultivate positive self-talk. So what is self-talk? So each time an event happens in our lives, the information that about it enters our mind. We then interpret that information, forming beliefs about what the event means, how it is going to affect us, or why it happened. We cannot always control the events that happen, but we can control how we think about them. Some say that the major differences between success and failure is the way we talk to ourselves about it. So negative self-talk hurts us, and most of the time we do not notice we're even doing it. Fortunately, it is possible to turn this negative habit into a positive one, and that's what we're going to talk about today, is how to do that. So here are some examples of what negative self-talk would sound like. So it would sound like, I shouldn't have ate that last piece of cake. I can't do this presentation. I'm such an idiot. I'll never pass this exam. I don't want to embarrass myself or the team, so I won't sign up to participate. The great thing is that negative self-talk can be changed to the positive. So negative self-talk, this kind of thinking has detrimental effects to our mental health. This critical voice directly affects self-esteem and works by emphasizing past failures, setting impossible standards of perfection, ignoring anything good that happens, and assuming others' thoughts about you are negative. Positive self-talk, on the other hand, gives us motivation to maintain healthy habits and can easily be incorporated into our daily lives. With continuous positive self-talk, we can develop a healthy image of ourselves and in turn boost our self-confidence. Positive thoughts means positive emotions, behaviors, and producing a better outcome. Negative thoughts often lead to negative emotions, behaviors, and poorer outcomes. So how to replace the negative with the positive. We're going to be going over a few particular habits where we can do this. So this first way to navigate this is to focus on the solution. So dwelling on a problem instead of a solution is the essence of negative self-talk. So this would sound like, I don't know how to do this problem. I'll never pass the exam. So instead, most problems have solutions. So we need to keep that in mind. Ask yourself, how can I make this situation better? Or think, I will work through this problem until I can understand it. So the second strategy here is to expect the best. What if I don't pass the exam? What if he doesn't like me? Expecting the worst creates anxiety and causes us to behave ineffectively. Instead, ask questions that give positive outcomes. How can I prepare for the exam? Or how can I make a good impression? The third strategy is could, not should. So words like should or must suggest rules and standards for our behavior that do not exist in reality. These words imply there is a consequence for noncompliance, which can evoke feelings of guilt. I should go to the gym, but I never have the time. Instead, replace the word could and realize that you do have choices. I could go to the gym after class or on my lunch break. So the fourth strategy here is using realistic thinking. So we distort reality by thinking only in extremes, and this makes our efforts either total failures or complete successes with nothing in between. I'll never pass this exam because I always draw a blank. So instead, let's be more realistic. So replace those exaggerated words with ones that more accurately reflect reality and give yourself options. So in reality, you could say, I haven't actually ever failed an exam. I'm going to relax and I'll do fine. The fifth strategy here is to take it in stride. So every bad thing that happens is a horrible disaster. I missed the bus, and today's class is the most important. So instead, be realistic and stop scaring yourself. Bad things do happen, yet most are not necessarily tragedies or disasters, but rather inconveniences and mistakes. I can always talk to my professor afterwards and get any information I missed. So the sixth strategy here is to use positive labels. So negative labels lower our self-esteem. Remember that people's faults or shortcomings do not define them. The seventh strategy is to take responsibility. So we sometimes resort to assigning guilt instead of solving a problem. That person took my study spot and now I can't concentrate. So blaming others can make us feel vindicated in a wrongdoing and allow us to avoid responsibility. So instead, what we could do is focus on what we can do to find a solution to the problem and take responsibility. So this campus is big with plenty of other study spots available. Okay, so next we're going to look at how to become aware of the negative self-talk. So, when you are aware of your own negative self-talk, you can stop doing it. Here are some ways to stop. So, first is to use positive affirmations. So, every morning when you look in the mirror, you say something positive in your head or out loud. I'm going to have a great day today, or I'm beautiful. It may sound silly, but it does work. Write these affirmations on your mirror or on a sticky note so you can have them right in front of you. Eventually, these positive thoughts will become habitual and your self image will be healthier. So, the next strategy here is to do something called a 1 day test. So, carry an index card. On one side, write positive, on the other side, write negative. So, during the day, each time you find yourself doing positive self talk, make a note of that. And then each time you berate yourself or use negative labels, mark that on the other side of the card. So at the end of the day, tally up the marks to see how well your self talk is going. If it is mostly positive, you are on your way to a positive future. If it is mostly negative, use this experience to create new thought patterns for the future and actively work to angle your self talk towards the positive side. The third strategy here is to ask yourself a question. So when you notice yourself thinking negatively, instead of trying to stop yourself from thinking a negative thought, try to direct your thoughts. The way to direct your thinking is by asking yourself a question. Ask a positive question like, what is my goal? Or how can I make myself stronger to better deal with this? The question gets your mind going in a new direction and focuses your attention on something more positive. So once you decide on a question to ask yourself, keep asking, ponder it, and let it run through your thoughts to bring you into a new positive state of mind. And then the fourth strategy here is to notice three wonderful things. At the end of the day, think back to your experience and note three positive experiences. Writing them down, focusing on the sensation, image, thoughts, emotions, and meaning attached. So stress, attitude, and concentration. Improving your attitude can reduce stress. Understand your sources of stress and manage it strategically. So intended outcomes of positive self-talk strategies. So in the short term, knowledge can be increased as well as mental health, self-image, and self-esteem. And then in the long term, levels of anxiety and depression can be decreased as well as increased strategy use in daily life. You're going to have a lot more skills to utilize in your daily life if you implement more positive self-talk. So healthy self-esteem. So all this does play into self-esteem. So people with healthy self-esteem see themselves in an accurate way, value their own strengths and contributions, and accept their limitations. They see themselves as unique individuals who are deserving of happiness regardless of their experiences. So what is healthy self-esteem? So healthy self-esteem refers to realistic, affirming thoughts and feelings about oneself. People with healthy self-esteem treat themselves and others with respect, take responsibility for their own behavior, and are proud of what they accomplish. They are able to motivate themselves, believing that they are capable of coping with life's challenges and competent to make good decisions. So, is it possible for a person to have too much self esteem? So, some people worry that developing strong self esteem will ultimately result in an overinflated sense of self, conceitedness, and bragging. Egocentric behavior, however, is typically seen as an indication of low self esteem. Strong self esteem, on the other hand, is marked by a balanced and realistic sense of personal worth and competence. It is founded on respect for oneself and respect for others. People with healthy self esteem avoid comparing themselves with or judging others and look to themselves to feel good about life. In addition to recognizing their strengths, people with healthy self esteem are able to acknowledge their mistakes and limitations. So we're going to go through some signs of what low self-esteem would look like. So on the cognitive level, this could be judging oneself harshly, expectations of negative evaluation, expectations of failure, expectations of perfection, blaming others for difficulties, or doubts about self-worth. On the behavioral level, this could like communication difficulties, procrastination, avoiding difficult situations, performing below potential, difficulty handling criticism, lack of goals, irresponsibility, acting arrogant or bragging, attempts to impress others, reluctance to take risks on things, using violence to solve problems, or substance dependency. And then on the emotional level, low self-esteem would look like a depressed mood, feelings of anxiety, feelings of helplessness, lack of respect for others, difficulty showing care, difficulty trusting oneself, feelings of contempt, or difficulty managing anger. So to develop a better self-esteem? So some people struggle to feel good about themselves in general. Others find that they value certain aspects of themselves, like for instance, feeling confident about athletic abilities, while also having negative feelings about other aspects, maybe feeling socially unskilled. So how do we work on this? We can remember that it is natural to feel good about some aspects of yourself and less positive about others. Recognize that developing and maintaining healthy self-esteem is a lifelong process. It is your job to help yourself feel good about you over the course of your entire life. Assuming responsibility for yourself and how you feel is key to maintaining a strong sense of self-worth. Think about your thinking. Are your self-appraisals realistic and accurate, or are they overly negative and exaggerated? Learn to recognize negative predictions. You'll think I'm stupid, harsh self-criticisms like I'm being boring, perfectionist self-statements like I have to get this right, and beliefs about helplessness like it won't matter if I try. So some more strategies to develop better self-esteem. So challenge negative self-talk. So when you notice negative self-statements, try asking yourself questions such as, is this always true? What are the odds of that really happening? Could there be another possibility? Is there another explanation? Is this helpful? And would I talk to a friend this way? Generate positive self-statements that are encouraging and believable to you. I'm not the strongest player on the team, and I'll probably never be, but I give lots of effort during games and practices, and I know I can get better over time. So reciting empty, overly positive affirmations is likely not to be effective. So that's where the example I just gave is good, and that they're saying they're not the strongest player, may never be, but they're still putting in a lot of effort, and that's good enough, and they'll develop their skills over time. So challenge avoidance behavior. Avoiding anxiety-provoking situations robs you of the opportunity to see that you can cope with challenges. And then seek meaningful accomplishments, taking risks, working hard, finding out what you are good at, and learning that you can bounce back from failures will help you feel proud of yourself. And then some more skills here to develop better self-esteem. So develop relationships with people who are affirming, learn to share time with others, have fun, and communicate in a direct and respectful way. Learn to give and accept support. Live by your values and take responsibility for your actions. Acting with integrity will help you feel good about who you are. Respect and care for your belongings and space. Take care of your personal health. Eat well, exercise regularly, and get enough sleep. Avoid excessive use of caffeine, and seek professional help if you have problems with substance dependency. Read about ways to build self-esteem. So reading, self-help books and other resources on self-esteem can help. And give yourself credit for taking charge and helping yourself grow. Be patient too. Lasting change does usually take some time. And then here's a reminder, if you do notice that you're struggling with your self-esteem or engaging in a lot of negative self-talk, counseling can help. You could either reach out to SBH Counseling and Wellness, or you could find some mental health resources in your community, and there's some listed here on this slide. And then this last slide here is a reminder to practice, positive affirmations and make that an ongoing habit. So for this week, we have some to go over here. So we have, I can make a positive difference in the world. I don't have to be perfect to be successful. I am full of potential. Making mistakes is normal and part of being human. My opinion matters. I will make today a great day. And lastly, every day is a new opportunity to learn and grow.